everyone, it's time again for another Willie's Ramblings and Pickup video. Well, this past week I went to Columbus, Ohio, on business of course. While I was up there in the evening I was able to visit a couple arcades. One's actually in Cincinnati, the other one's in Columbus. The first arcade I visited in Columbus was Arcade Super Awesome. It's a really neat arcade to go to. It's ran by John Grieger. I messed up his name, I bet. Oops. But if you get a chance, check out that arcade. I did a video for my Arcade USA channel on it. I'll put a link to that video down in the show notes. Another arcade I visited was my good buddy, Kerry Cheney, who owns the Place Retro Arcade. Did a little follow-up video on his place because he's gotten a lot of new games. A lot of changes have occurred. He also has one of those XD Death Race arcade games down there that I was playing. We both played at the same time, so you get the highest score. A lot of fun. In other news, my co-host, Gamester81, he's got his new website open now, Star Wars Nut 77. So if you're really into Star Wars, go over and check out his website. And also his YouTube channel, Star Wars Nut 77. He does a lot of neat reviews and talks a lot of interesting things about the Star Wars franchise. So it's pretty entertaining. So I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, so let's just get right to the pickups. First thing I picked up, this is Star Wars related, is I finally found one of the prototype armor Boba Fett's, which is a Walgreens exclusive. I mainly picked this up for my co-host John, because these things are hard to find. It's pretty cool, though. It's awesome. I like Star Wars, but I tend not to collect that kind of stuff because I really don't have a whole lot of room. I'd rather have video games on the shelves. My good friend SoCal Mike went out to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and he picked me up some stuff out there. Well, actually, I kind of talked him out of one thing. I felt kind of bad about it because it's cool. I have to do something for him for picking this up for me. But anyway, one of the first things he picked up for me out there was a Tomitronic Tron electronic game. This is a really neat little tabletop video game. It's VFD, of course. Has 3 little mini games in there. You have the first level, which is the light cycles. And you basically push down on the button here to speed your light cycle up, let off, and it goes slower. And you have to defeat 3 computer light cycles. Once you defeat the 3 computer light cycles, you go to a second game screen. You gotta forgive me, I got asthma and it's acting up. The second game screen is like a Tron Deadly Disc type of game, where you have Sark on one side of the screen and you're on the other side, and you throw this disc back and forth. And you try to catch it and send it back to eliminate one of his rings. You got to do it 4 times before you win the level. And then finally, the last level is Attack on the MCP Cone. And basically it's a timing thing. You got to shoot one disc to create an opening, and you'll see it scrolling. Then you got to time it to get the disc right inside to cut it off at the little point base, just like in the movie. And you have a limited amount of time to do this. You'll see the little ring bars disappearing down below as you play the game. So all in all, this is a really awesome game. This I had a long time ago. I got it a long time ago, and like a dummy, I sold it. So when SoCal saw this and told me about it, I said, "Yeah, pick it up for me because I want this game back." It's a really fun game, especially if you like Tron. Next thing SoCal picked up for me out there was a Tomitronic 3D race game, NASCAR-like race game. Little 3D effect. You put it on like goggles, play the game. Now, unfortunately, on this camera, you're not going to be able to see the 3D effect because I can only shoot the camera down one little hole right here. But you get the basic idea. It's a color LCD game. And it is quite a bit of fun to play. I kind of enjoy playing this little racing game. There's another one out that's called, I think, Tank Attack, I think. That has a tank on the bottom of the screen, and you shoot these vehicles that are flying, and they look like recognizers from Tron coming at you, so it's pretty cool. That's the next one I want to try to find to add to this. And then the holy grail of the stuff he picked up for me is this Bandai Electronics Blockout. This game's awesome. It's basically Breakout, and what's really neat is you have a knob right here to move your paddle back and forth instead of push buttons. So it plays a lot like, you know, like you play arcade Breakout. Has multiple game levels on here, you know, different ways that the ball will interact with the screen up here and things like that. A lot of fun to play. A really great game. I've not really seen these hardly at all out in the wild before. This is actually probably the first one I have ever seen, to tell you the truth. So I don't know how rare these are, but it is awesome. Now let's get to my regular video game pickups. One of the things I picked up this week is I picked up a Congo Bongo for the Atari 2600. It's okay. It's a little bit confusing on how to control the guy because it's a 3D isometric view. And once you think you need to move the joystick to get the guy to go a direction, he doesn't go that way. So it's a little confusing to play, but it's quite a bit of fun. The music is very repetitive and maddening, but it's okay. Not bad. And for my Sega Genesis, I picked up Bram Stoker's Dracula. Meh. I picked this up on a whim because it kind of looked like, almost like a Castlevania-like game, looking at the pictures on the back. No. I don't think it's that great. I don't like it. Next thing I picked up was Klax for the Sega Genesis. This is a really fun puzzle game, and basically what you do is you have these little tiles that roll down this conveyor belt. And you get 3 of them lined up in a row, either vertically, diagonally, or horizontally. And you got to do this so many times to pass each level. And it gets faster and faster, and harder and harder, of course. This is a really fun puzzle game. I recommend trying this out on pretty much any system. It pretty much plays the same. It's awesome. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Wow. Next thing I picked up for my Sega Genesis was Thunder Force 3. Complete in the box. I like shoot 'em up games, and this is right up my alley. It's a really fun game. Has a lot of different weapon power-ups you can collect, and your ship can shoot all different ways. It's pretty cool. I didn't do very well playing the games. You probably see the video up here. I keep dying quite a bit. Oh well, it's a lot of fun. That's a keeper. And then the last thing I picked up, this is for my PS1, my PlayStation 1 system, is I found the Long Box Lemmings 3D game for the PlayStation 1. And the whole reason why I picked this up is I found out that it is compatible with the mouse. Right there. Mouse compatible. So instead of using the D-pad to move your little crosshair around to do different things, you can just move around the screen really quick using a mouse. Makes the game a whole lot more fun to play. So based on that, I went ahead and picked it back up again. I had it at one time and I didn't like using the D-pad on it. Plus I didn't have it in this long box. It was a loose CD in a generic CD case. So pretty neat to get that. And then later on, maybe this coming weekend, I'll be working on a commercial for a friend of mine that does the Intellivisionaries podcast, Nermix. He makes these really neat adapter cables that allows you to use the new television flashback controllers on an older Intellivision, like the Intellivision 2 or the Sears Super Video Arcade, where the controllers plug in and out. So I'll be making a little video about these really soon. They're pretty neat. So that's pretty much it. That's all the pickups. So till next time, thanks for watching.